What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We here with a new one. We got the top 10 most hated countries in the world. This is going to be interesting. I know there's a lot of hate for I wouldn't say all of America, but for sure the United States of America in that portion of the country. You know what I'm saying? But we finna check this out, see what it's about. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Send down those recommendations.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to World According to Briggs and a list about the most hated countries on the planet. Yeah, people hate different countries. Several different organizations do different surveys on what country is the most hated or disliked on the planet. The Reputation Institute, Pew Research does this thing called Attitude Towards Different Countries. I looked at all the different surveys that I could find, and I came up with a list of countries that most frequently show up on these studies, or surveys, whatever you want to call them. There are a lot of different reasons people from other countries may hate another country. It could be things that happened in the past or now. It could be for economic reasons or military reasons. For whatever reason, people hate. It's just a fact. This is a very interesting list. I found some on the list. They really haven't done anything horrible in decades and decades, but people hate them going back hundreds and hundreds of years.
Dang.
It's really strange. All right, let's see what people
That hate do linger for some people. That hate be lingering around them for long.
will say are the most hated countries. Number 10, Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
Saudi Arabia is an oil-rich country in the Persian Gulf, and everyone's heard of Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
This place is highly dominated by religious laws and go all the way to medieval punishments like stoning, lashing, amputation for thieves. Women really get a raw deal here too, with lack of most freedoms that we take for granted here in the United States that are just part of our normal life. I was reading some of their laws and thinking, why would they stop a woman from doing that? One of their laws that just baffled me, which I knew about it for a long time, I just thought it was strange, started reading about it, was women, when they go outside the home, have to cover themselves from head to toe, including their faces. And they're not allowed to go anyplace alone. They have to take a male relative with them. Could be a brother, could be their husband, whatever.
I think I've known that too. Like when we have people from different countries in the States, and they still follow their cultures, beliefs, and stuff. You know, I've seen that before.
I'm sure that gets old quick for
But
both.
I never understood it, cause I'm not. But I never understood why. But I respected it, cause that's their beliefs. That's what they believe. That's their culture and stuff.
The woman and her brother, who every time she's got to go to the store, if her husband's working, she's got to call her loser brother to come over and escort her to the store. They got a whole bunch of other reasons that rub outsiders the wrong way here, and that's what gets them on lists like this. Most tourists will tell you that to stay away from this place because it's kind of boring to visit.
Dang.
Number 9, Turkey.
Not Turkey.
Turkey has had a love-hate relationship with the world for centuries. Turkish
what
people
has
are
that been
great. I know a few of them. All of them are wonderful people. What's putting them on the list, according to several sources, is their current government, and actually their past government when they were the Ottomans. When you go way back, Turkey is hated because of the Armenian genocide. The massacre was carried out by the Ottoman Empire and resulted in the deaths of 1.5 million people. Armenians, mostly. If you don't know the Ottoman Empire, it's probably because you're from the United States. We kind of just brush over it in our world history, but the Ottoman Empire was basically big in this area, and it all came from Turkey. And I just totally broad brushed that again, but that's give you the idea what's going on there. Although the massacre is widely known, it is still denied by the Turkish government. It's like they know it happened, everyone else knows it happened, but if they don't admit it, it didn't happen. It's weird.
That is weird.
Number 8, Iran. I know many Persians. I worked in Beverly Hills for a lot of years, and it's filled to the brim with Persians. Like Turkey, the people are kind, decent, very smart, and friendly. It's their government. It supports terrorism around the world, has horrible human rights record, keeps threatening the world with nukes, and it likes to piss off the most powerful nations on the planet. The people are great, though, and it's not just the United States they like rubbing the wrong way. Everyone. If you're a major power in this world, Iran's gotten under your skin at some point. Number 7, India. If any country excels in discrimination, it's India. This is one of the main...
I've been checking out India like cricket team and stuff. I've seen one of their games. It was actually pretty good. I like the cricket team.
Reasons people hate this place. The Indians believe that hating you for your color, race, gender is perfectly a normal thing. Now, I'm not saying all of them. This is just a general feel. I'm sure you could run into a lot of really...
some friends that were Indian in school, one of my friends, but especially when we were younger.
Nice Indians. This, as you can imagine, puts a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, and it kind of keeps them away from visiting India. The country isn't safe, especially for women. They are cracking down on this, but it isn't terribly rare to find out that some woman was attacked by a group of men. For a while there, it seemed to be happening like every week. I mean, brutal stuff too. Not like touching on the bus or something like that. It was ugly. On top of that, they aren't the best neighbors to other countries around them. They have a really bad reputation for that. Number 6. The United Kingdom. Yes, believe it or not, the United Kingdom is hated by a lot of people. And it's not so much as what's going on now. They have a terrible past. It's thought by many around the world that the UK is extremely greedy, and it ruled about a quarter of the earth at one point. It was one of the first in the world to bring in a slavery system. It encouraged civil wars, oppressed and looted many...
You always say the United Kingdom is always, they the closest to America just about. I'm sure America on this list, probably top 3
countries, and is responsible for the
United States, not just America, the United States of America.
Division and destruction of several countries in different continents around the world, and still involved in most of the major wars that happen on the planet. But if you go way back, I mean, look at anything to do with history, especially here in the United States, you could tell England was they were kind of a-holes. And the arrogance they had back in the day about it was just incredible. One of the best scenes, there's a movie called Last of the Mohicans, and Daniel Day-Lewis is just like this scout woodsman, and this British officer, he saves him, and then he's all, how is it you came across this war party of Native Americans that were attacking the British? And he goes, well, we were heading to Kentucky. He's all, why are you heading to Kentucky? All of our scouts are heading to someplace else. And he goes, well, I ain't one of your scouts. And he just, the British officer's demeanor was like, what do you mean? He's all, yeah, I'm just not doing that stuff. Great movie, though. One of the reports I read, there's a big problem with the British. Obviously, they were in India for a very long time, and I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it seems very interesting, but it's a little more time-consuming than I wanted to get into. They say the UK destroyed India and ruined its education system. What did they do, like steal all the teachers? What went on there? I gotta read about that.
Steal all the teachers.
Number 5, China. China has a lot of people, and they execute a staggering amount of them. They have forced labor camps, ugly history, and cheap exports. They've been accused of currency manipulation and have decided that the island of Taiwan belongs to them. There's always something going on between those two. Some of their low-cost products include medicine and food. On a few occasions, they've decided to use materials that are less expensive so they could drive up profits, make the product cheaper. The downside is this has caused some deaths. That type of thing has gone on for decades with them. So many times they found out some toy that was inspected before, all of a sudden they switched it out to having lead-based paint or something like that because it's cheaper on a kid's toy. As you can imagine, all those things have gotten them on this list. Number 4, Israel. The Israeli people and the Palestinian people have been going at each other's throats for decades and decades. They fire rockets at each other from across the border. The politics and the drama that has gone on here for, like I said, decades and decades is just far too complicated to cover in a 10-minute video. But whenever you have warring neighbors...
Look nice in Israel, though, you know. I don't know what area this is. Maybe Jerusalem? I don't know.
The one that's usually doing the most damage is the more powerful one, which brings on a lot of hatred. And that's part of Israel's problem. I mean, there's a ton that goes into this, but basically the war that they've had with the Palestinian people and the fact that they're a Jewish nation surrounded by Muslim nations probably doesn't help matters either. Number 3, Russia. Russia has a history of being aggressive to its neighbors, not just in military terms, economics, hacking, forcing a bunch of countries to join the Soviet Union, and before you say it, yes, some went willingly. At least the people in charge went willingly. It's really hard to find average Joes from the old Soviet Union that were on board with this whole operation. Russia likes to create conflicts between major nations of the world, which is designed to be beneficial to Russia. They like to kill people that disagree with them, no matter what country the person happens to be standing in.
Russia.
You know, like Russians go someplace else. They've been talking to the media bad about Russian government. Next thing you know, they've been poisoned with uranium or something weird like that. They're right now in the news because they have jailed an opposition leader that's been on a hunger strike. This isn't the first.
Hey, Russia wilding out. I don't know when this video was made, but they wildin' because there's some stuff going on now.
time they've done that either. All those things and some other things make Russia one of the most hated countries on the planet.
They're probably number one now.
Number 2,
the
the United States of America. Yeah, you heard me. My country, our country, if you're watching from the United States, is the second most hated country in the world. Now, it's hard to believe if you're from the country, much like if you're from Russia, you're probably, wondering why people would hate Russia. That's just how things are. We're kind of designed to be that way. The United States of America is hated by many because of its vast military and economic power over the rest of the world. And that's just a fact. We've been involved in so many different conflicts which have just angered people from the areas and in the countries that the conflicts happened in. There are a lot of cases wondering why we got involved. You would probably have to go back to the Korean War and World War II to find a time that we were truly justified by going to war there, and the people were probably happy with it 90% of the time. I mean, the people from those countries. But considering we've been involved in all these conflicts, we are one of the wealthiest countries on the planet, and we have the largest military, it's hard not to be hated by third world countries because of that. There are so many other
some of us hate it too. Hate what's be going on around here, and I'm telling you, it just don't feel like it's the same anymore,
things for all these, really, not just the United States, but for all these countries. There's thousands of other reasons people might hate that country, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of them in the comment section below. Keep in mind, before you tell me I forgot something or I didn't include something, this is a 10-minute video. I'm not going to get to everything. I'm just kind of giving you an idea, but it is a very interesting subject.
It is.
It's worth doing some reading on. And before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day. There is a link down below. We'd love it if you went over there, watch a couple videos, maybe subscribe. All right, on to number 1.
Let's see what number 1 is.
And number 1.
Man.
North Korea. Who didn't see this one coming? When you put as much effort into hiding what is going on in your country as North Korea does, what's going on isn't good. North Korea has been a big pain in the ass to everyone for a very long time. We know their people are starving, jailed, executed,
Dang.
they disappear in the middle of the night, and they're subjected to an insane propaganda
North Korea, what? I mean, you just told me what y'all doing, but what y'all doing?
program. They're told that their leader doesn't have to use the restroom because he works so hard for the North Korean people that he burns off all the calories he takes in, so he never creates any waste.
Ain't no way. I got a pee-pee in a day. There ain't no way. Because that don't sound healthy. That's not healthy. You gotta use the restroom.
They also tell the people of North Korea that he has to take phone calls from other countries to solve problems that other countries can't figure out. They also have their own Netflix knockoff called Man Bang. I'm not kidding. It's called Man Bang. I don't even know how to explain they came up with that name, but it doesn't mean what it sounds like to Americans. I'm sure it means something different to them. This is a streaming service that has 3 channels, 2 of which are government news channels filled with nonsense, and 1 channel that shows government-approved movies only. Those who live in the country suffer from restrictions of freedom as their internet access is heavily censored.
That's crazy because I didn't think, I don't know if they mentioned that. He didn't mention that either about China. I know he said a 10-minute video wasn't going to death. I think China's the same way because they don't have YouTube and all this stuff in China as well.
Poor infrastructure, low standard of living, and the reason they're all poor and their infrastructure is crumbling is because they put all their money towards nuclear weapons. This is an obsession with the North Korean government. It threatens the world with nuclear war like on a weekly basis. They have an aggressive attitude towards neighboring countries, and this has caused them to be pretty much isolated from the rest of the world. And people go on to believe that they're just totally evil, which I'm sure the people are just fine. It's just their government is just whacked. The outside world knows very little of what's going on in North Korea. Every once in a while we'll get someone that defected over, they finally got out of the country, and they just tell us horrible things. I remember there was this soldier that jumped across the border not too long ago. He was starving. He had seeds from trees in his stomach that he just couldn't get enough food, so he was actually eating these big seeds that weren't digested, and it was kind of sad.
Dang, he grew he's trying to grow something in his stomach.
All right, that's today's list. Hope you guys got some information out of it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's kind of weird, and it's really weird to have to say that, yeah, the United States is one of the most hated countries on the planet.
Dang, that was kind of, that was interesting. The most hated countries in the world. That was odd. I guess just some of the stuff he was saying and stuff. That was interestingly odd, man. But I hope you guys enjoy this one. Let me know what you think about the video. Comments below. That's all I have. Y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.